Hello, good morning. I'm Kolli N Rao, associated with the Indian Crop Insurance Program for the last 35 years. Initially with GIC and subsequently with Agriculture Insurance Company of India. For the last 9 years, I'm working as a reinsurance intermediary, providing risk transfer support to the insurance companies in the Indian space. Well, the initial efforts in crop insurance program in India started in the early 1970s. There were several pilots thereafter, but the path-breaking event is introduction of Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana in 2016, which opened up with several important features. Now, the PMFBY works as an index plus insurance, meaning it works as an index insurance for widespread calamities and as an indemnity insurance for the localized calamities. Probably this is only kind of product in the world, hybrid between the index product and the indemnity product, so which is a unique product, and the several countries are actually reviewing products of this nature, which are unique in nature. I read several reports, and there is, of course, in the public discourse, which say that the insurance companies have made huge profits out of the PMFBY. I think the fact is different. There are a couple of parameters I would like to put forth to defend this position. Most of the reports say that the difference between the premium and claims is a profit, which is not the case. Insurance companies have got several expenses. For example, the PMFBY is a resource-intensive program. Now, as per the operational guidelines, and of course, in order to improve the service and to be near the farmers, insurance companies have to open offices at the sub-district level. They have a larger office at the district level. They have call center at the state level, and they have to undertake several activities, including publicity, awareness, education. And their service charges to be payable to the common service centers, banks. And above all this, there is a reinsurance cost, because the insurance companies do quota share reinsurance and get commission, but there's some portion which is retained, which is protected through a stop loss, for which they have to pay a premium. So if I put all this together, the expenses could be anywhere from 8 to 10% for a mid-sized company, which is writing about 2,500 crore premium in the market. There are two more elements which we need to consider while comparing premium with claims is premium has got two components to speak about. For example, the premium is booked when the farmer's enrollment is done, irrespective of whether the subsidy is received or not. Once the premium is booked, the enrollment is done, the premium is booked, that is a gross premium. And when the subsidies are received, then it is a realized premium. Similarly, the claim side, once the claims are worked out, as the yield data comes worked out, we have the claims which we call incurred claims. But they become paid claims, only claims are paid to the farmers. So what happens in case of claims paid is, there are several reasons why the claims are incurred but have not been paid. For example, sometimes the subsidies are not been released by the state. And sometimes there are some disputes because of which the claims have not been settled. So most of the comparisons which appear in the media don't seem to look at these important nuances in reporting. And one more reason is premium is booked at the beginning, whereas the claims are reported maybe a couple of months after the crop harvest. So between reporting of the premium and claim generation, there could be almost anywhere from 8 to 12 months time. So if someone is reporting premium and claims, so for at least for the recent seasons, he is able to report the full premium, but the claims actually, he doesn't have the figures of the recent claims. So therefore, we have to be very careful when we are reporting premium and claims. So the best way to compare is, if you are showing full premium as a premium booked, then you show comparative picture of incurred claims. But if you're showing only claim paid, then I think correspondingly we should only show the premium realized or the premium booked. But all said and done, as I said, premium is booked at the beginning of the season, and claims development takes place maybe almost 8 to 12 months. So therefore, we have to keep these nuances in mind while we are trying to compare these claims and premium and claims, and say that the insurance companies have made so much profit. So one more, would say criticism which we get to read from the newspapers is that the claim ratio is less. I think if you look at crop insurance programs across the globe, let's take only the 6-7 years corresponding to the PMFBY launch, that's 2016. So if you look at the picture from 2016 to 2021, let's take first US and China, which are the two biggest markets. So USA, if you take last 6 or 7 years claim ratio, which is below 80%, and China, which is below 60%. So there are several countries, which are operating in a claim ratio of anywhere from 65 to 80. And the Indian program, if you look at PMFBY, we didn't have major events at national level because luckily we had a 7th successive normal monsoon in year 22. So it means after 2015, we've been having continuously normal monsoons. This is not to say that there were no major events at the state level. Yes, at state level, there were some major events and compensations were paid. But at a national level, luckily, we didn't have a serious monsoon-related event. Despite that, last 6 years claim ratio is a healthy 83%. So the fact that without an event, we have an 83% claim ratio is I would call a very healthy average, and it compares very well with the global claim ratios. And one way is certainly, looking at the claim ratio to see actually the claim, whether the insurance program is working well. But I think most importantly, since we didn't have a serious event at the national level, the best way to see the utility value of insurance, crop insurance, is how insurance fared in the places where there were events. For example, if you look at Tamil Nadu, 2016 to 2018, 3 years they've been, because Tamil Nadu receives a lot of rainfall from northeast monsoon, and that's very important. But they had an extremely bad 3 years, and over 3-year period, the claim ratio is more than 200%. Similarly, almost every state in the last 6 years, 1 year or the other, had some event. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Haryana. There are several states which had one or the other. Some districts in these states had one or the other years as a bad years, but they all, in those years they have received a decent payment. So therefore, the best way to look at is, not just the claim ratio at a national level, but in those areas where there were events, whether claims were paid properly or not. That's an important element. And at the same time, also let's remember that insurance works on law of averages and law of large numbers. So we cannot actually judge the insurance value based on 1 year result or 2 year result. Ideally, I would think agriculture is generally perceived as a kind of a 10-year cycle. Probably that is the reason why even premium rates are calculated taking 10 years data. So the best way is to see, over a 10-year cycle, exactly what is the overall national claim ratio as well as individual state claim ratios depending upon what kind of events they faced. Probably that is the best measure. But overall, given that our claim ratios are healthy, at about 83% based on 6 years, compared to several other countries, big countries where the claim ratios are below India, I think we are doing well. Yeah, climate change is real, climate risk is real. If you look at the Indian scenario, last 3 years, we have seen unusually heavy rainfall during second fortnight of September and the first fortnight of October. That impacted the crops which were in maturity stage and which were just harvested, which caused heavy losses for several crops. Similarly, we had several events in other parts of the world. For example, Italy suffered an event. Canada suffered an event, Brazil suffered an event. So these events were actually probably, on the written period analysis, probably there maybe 1 in 50, maybe 1 in 75 events. So with the change, climate change we are talking about, there's the new risks which are emerging. So we can't basically say that like what we had seen in the past was the worst losses. Probably the worst is yet to come. So we should all be prepared to deal with those risks when they happen. So crop insurance is going to be an important tool in mitigating some of the risks which the climate change brings in. Although there are several other initiatives the government of India, the farmers at their level are taking, including crop varieties and irrigation practices and change in the crop husbandry practices. Crop insurance actually goes very well, syncs very well with these practices, and can actually be a very important tool in the suite of agriculture risk mitigation. Indian crop insurance program is heavily supported by the government and is largely mandatory for the lowly farmers. Yet the insurance penetration in terms of the crop area insured is just about 25%. But whereas several other markets, which you mentioned about China, US, they have a penetration levels close to 60%. So to make crop insurance more meaningful and treat this as an important mitigation tool in the realm of agriculture risk management, we need to bring more farmers into the safety net which the insurance provides. While the government of India, several states have been working tirelessly to bring in more farmers, and there are several education programs to create that sensitivity towards importance of insurance. But I think we all need to work more to ensure that almost every second farmer in this country is insured by 2025. I think that should be the target we should keep in mind while talking about insurance, while engaging the farmers, engaging the states to increase the insurance penetration. The government of India introduced several initiatives to improve the transparency of crop insurance, as well as to expedite the claim settlement process, which is one of the criticisms which the insurance scheme has received, delay in settlement of claims. So the government of India has been working, and for this work in progress. But recently, there are several initiatives have been proposed. These include STEC, that is use of technology in yield estimation and creating new products, and WINS, that is related to the weather station network, and that brings in more relevance for the risk mitigation by mapping the weather stations across the whatever networks available across the country on a single grid, and developing protocol for use of that technology, and also crop pick. This is basically providing ground truthing points for the technology. So these three initiatives are very important, and I'm sure once they get implemented, that should help bring in more transparency, more visibility to this all important program, and that should without a doubt help in increasing the insurance penetration in this country.